Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of Mode 7, the show where we play games and talk about them. I'm your host, Sergmanx, and joining me today is Monkey Man.
What's going on, Serge? Another episode.
We're 3 episodes down. I can't believe we made it to episode 3.
Well, technically, we're 2 down if we made it a 3, aren't we?
Anyway, moving along. The game we're going to talk about today is Balloon Kid on the Game Boy, the original Game Boy. And I got to say, for a game that's a couple of decades old, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, so my first impressions of the game, I was like, man, why does Serge keep doing this to me?
What do you mean?
This game sucks.
What?
It's like a joke.
You didn't like Balloon Kid?
No.
What?
I'm like, all right, the graphics look terrible.
Well,
my game was in black and white.
It's a Game Boy game.
Well, so is Pokemon, but that's legendary. So what are you talking about? It's a Game Boy game.
It's a game. What did you expect? You expected high-end HD graphics? Come on, man.
All right. Fair enough for the graphics, but the gameplay, I'm like, what is this nonsense?
Whoa,
And
my God.
And then I didn't realize until stage 4 that you could blow up new balloons.
My
I was just
God.
I let go of the balloons, and then sometimes there's a single balloon which you need to collect the balloons for some reason, I don't know. And then sometimes there's a double balloon that you could collect. I'm like, oh, that one must give me the balloon back that now I could fly with it. It didn't do it. I'm like, what is going on with this game? Until stage 4, that's when I found out you could keep pushing down, and it's almost like a bicycle pump that you're pumping up to get new balloons.
Wow.
And then I was like, oh man, well that changes everything with the game.
Oh my God. The moment the game started, I was hooked. The music is fantastic. Especially the level 1 song. That is an amazing song. I loved it.
Wow. Okay. So how did you hear about this game?
Oh, it was just there when I was a kid. I just had it. I don't know where the Game Boy came from. There was a couple of Game Boy games we had. We had Super Mario Land. We had Balloon Kid, Tetris, a couple others. So I popped it in, and I thought it was from the jump. I thought it was a very. It's a classic game. I will say that.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it is simple. It's a little bit more of hand-eye coordination, and nothing in it is really too difficult. The game did grow on me. Most games do grow on me, which is actually one of the reasons why I'm really glad that you have me doing this with you sometimes, because it's I want to be introduced to new games, but I'm the type of person where it's I'm so judgmental about it where I'll turn it off really quick if I don't like the first 5 seconds of gameplay.
Right.
But doing this with you, it forces me to stick throughout the game. And like I said, I have the Abernic RG350, and it came with 1,000 plus, or I don't know if it said 10,000 games, some crazy amount of games on it that I'd never be able to play all of them. But it's by doing this with you, I'm going to be able to tackle that list of games a lot sooner than I would have.
Now, oddly enough, this actually isn't the first game in the franchise, and I didn't know this as a kid. This is the second game in the franchise. The original game was on the original Nintendo. It was called Balloon Flight. And I don't know did you try the other mode out in Balloon Kid?
No.
All right, so in that mode, it's basically from the original. You have to survive this course, and there's a whole bunch of spikes. So you try to see how far you can go before you die, and it's basically just to see how far you can get.
Okay, so it sounds kind of like that modern game. I think it's called Flappy Bird or something, right? I don't know if that's an arcade game.
Yeah, slightly. I can see why you would say that. Not quite, but it's kind of the same idea.
And then in this game, you had the 1-ups and stuff, which was pretty cool. There were these little sections where you could go into what looks like the icon of a Game Boy, which I found very entertaining. And then it's kind of bonus rounds, and sometimes a special balloon would come up in the regular stages, and it has a P on it, and it would flash black and white.
Yeah.
Which is kind of in Mario, they have that as well, right?
Exactly. It's basically invincibility for a short amount of time, and you could just plow through basically everything. And the purpose of collecting the balloons, which I'm not sure if you realize this as you did it, if you collect, I think, 100, you get an extra life.
Okay, I was thinking that might have been the case. That usually is how it is with games like either Mario with the coins or Sonic with the rings.
Like I found myself, at least in the first half of the game, I had a lot of lives, definitely into the double digits. But then towards, I would say, the second half of the game, I think some of the stages got a little tough, especially moments where you had to ditch the balloons and you had to jump over enemies and over gaps, and then you couldn't make balloons because it was too narrow of a space to fly through. And I gotta say, like, you really felt like you were going on a journey trying to find your, I guess, her brother.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. It didn't really tell much of a story to this game, which I was kind of surprised about. I was expecting a little bit more story than it had.
I guess it, you know, and I guess for a Game Boy game, it just did the bare minimum. You know, it just gave a setup. The girls hop in, her brother's floating away on balloons, and she's gonna go save him. I thought the boss battles were okay. They were kind of easy though.
Yeah, I liked the boss battles, but it definitely was very easy. It was almost no challenge at all. Like, all you had to do, they were all the same. They had slightly different patterns, but it was all just like, oh, jump on his head, jump on his head, jump on this boss's head. Like, it was just, you know, the same tactic to defeat each enemy.
Like, I wouldn't say the battles really were too varied as you progressed. But I kind of liked the different environments you traveled through. Like, the open level looks like a town made from like arts crafts. Like, you see pencils and like look like paintbrushes in the background.
Yeah, and it looks like match heads.
Yeah. Now, I'm gonna give you some trivia right now. What do you think that town was called?
Ooh. How many guesses do I get?
I'll give you 3 guesses.
Okay. Woodtown?
No. 2 more guesses.
Penciltown?
You're on the right track, but no.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that at least sounds like a town named Penciltown. It kind of reminds me of school with like pencils and big erasers too. Schooltown?
No. All right. Are you ready? This is a big knee slapper. It's called Pennsylvania.
Oh wow. Okay.
I was like, no way, and I had to look it up. I don't remember. I think I was like Googling one of the first levels. Not Googling. I was YouTubing the first stage's music, and I was reading the comments, and then someone said that, and I'm like, no way. So I looked it up, and yeah, it's called Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
that's good. I like it. Yeah, my favorite level was I think it was the last level, and like it had like some crazy stuff going on. It was obviously more difficult than the previous levels, and there were different parts where there were like fans in it, and if you hit a fan, it would release electric sparks, and there were lightning bolts, and then there were these areas where it was almost like electricity running through lines in the background, and you had to avoid those, and sometimes there were a sequence of them where some went horizontal, the other went vertical, and you really had to like coordinate yourself through it, and that was the most challenging part in the game to me, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. That last level was tricky. I burned a lot of lives trying to finish it, and then the final boss wasn't even that hard. I think the level was definitely a lot harder than the actual final fight.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like you only need to jump on the guy's head like what, 4 times, maybe 5, you know, so like yeah, it's nothing crazy at all. He doesn't get faster or tougher or bigger or pull out a different move set like as you start to beat him. You know, it's just like he was just the same thing, jumping his head 4 times, and that's it. And then, you know, you get to the end of the game, if you're watching the credits, she finally does find her brother. He lets go of his balloons. She has hers. They both fly away. And, you know, when the credits are over, she drops her brother.
Yeah,
so it's like
I laughed. I was like,
like, man, I went through 9 stages of this for nothing.
Like, what a pointless story. And I guess he fell into the ocean and probably got eaten by a fish or something, and he died.
Yeah. But like, you know what, it was a funny little touch. I'm really glad they had it.
Yeah.
It was pretty entertaining.
You know, it gives the game a little personality.
Yeah, it sure does. But I do like that when she had 1 balloon versus 2, she was noticeably slower, harder to maneuver. So it really did. I like that she could move with one balloon, but it really was much better with two. But like what really got me at first, I didn't like where the physics in the game. It was like there was kind of like too much bouncing around, and I felt like if I hit a wall, then I'm going all the way to the other side of the screen and then back again, and it was like I was kind of all over the place. But I started to get a hang of it.
Yeah, sometimes it got very, like you said, very bouncy when you were going through tight corridors.
Yeah, and I guess like that makes sense though, because like realistically physics of like balloons and stuff, I guess it would be pretty bouncy, so it does make sense. But I think that's what threw me off in the beginning of the game initially, was the physics, the bounciness of it, and then it's just also like the inertia that she has. Like you can't just put on the brakes. You can't just stop the character. But again, that's more accurate towards like someone who would be flying through the air, floating through the air, whatever you want to call it. But that, and how I was wrong about, I didn't realize you could just pump to get more balloons. And there didn't be a limit to that. Like you could just, you didn't need any type of power or anything to be able to pump and make new balloons. You could do it wherever, as long as you're on the flat surface.
Right. I'm glad there wasn't a limit to that, because I feel like it would have been more of a stressful experience, I guess, trying to make sure you don't run out of pumps. But
but like how many games do you like realistically push the down button for? I don't know. Maybe I guess like Mario.
There's a
ducks,
couple.
right?
I mean, not a couple, but there's a lot. There's a lot of games that require crouching, or like for Sonic, for example, trying to go into the spin dash.
Sure, but those are like, you would think that pushing the down button would be some type of crouch or lowering your body position or something.
And a lot of RPGs that you go on the world map, you're constantly going up, down, left, right, or
right. Well, that's different. Yeah. But just like in this one, like it wasn't obvious to me, like on a flat surface, why would I push down? Because
it depends on the game. A lot of platformers do utilize the down button.
Oh, okay. Well, that's something I'll look out for from now on.
But yeah, the closeout thoughts on Balloon Kid. I thought it was a charming platformer. I love the music. It gets difficult towards the back half, but I think it's a relatively easygoing experience, and there's a lot of opportunity to get a lot of lives. If you enjoyed this episode of Mode 7, give it a like and comment below your thoughts on today's topic. Please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that bell to be notified when the next Sergmanx video drops. Have a good day and peace out.